Welcome back to another video. It's Bradford TV Harrogate Town match reaction. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. A massive 1-0 win for City, 3 more points, moved back into the playoffs. I think we're around 5th or something now. 3 points is a big thing, and we've got Salford on Sunday, and we move on to that now. We need to get something from that game. I'd probably take a point, but you know, a win on Sunday is a massive result, and it was a big result today. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Obviously, big changes from Hughes before the game, bringing Sutton in, Oliver in, changing to a diamond, and it worked. I'm going to give credit to Gilead in this game. I've been quite critical of the last 4 games at least, but probably about 2 months now, been quite critical of Gilead. And I did feel like with him in the team with Smallwood next to him, it's dragging Smallwood's performances down. And we had to either change the shape if we wanted to keep Gilead in, or take him out and bring Ryan Easton, who I think still very unlucky not to be playing. His last league game was against Salford in October, but that's our first home win since Stevenage on the, was it the 17th of September? Since September, that 3-0 win against Stevenage. Cook scored twice in that game, so a massive win for us, confidence-wise as well. And we're back at home on Sunday, and we played like a home team in that game as well. Played more direct. Obviously Oliver up top with Wright worked. I think Oliver and Cook probably wouldn't work as well as we want, because 2 big men up there, even though Cook ain't as big as maybe you'd think, probably won't work. But with Wright and Oliver, or Jake Young and Oliver, I think Jake Young is a player who's very unlucky not to be playing. You know, 2nd top goal scorer this season, if not 3rd behind Banks or Wright. He's barely played any games. And yet he's right up there with a few goals. Obviously scored a couple of bangers. That goal, was it against Walsall or Newport? Brilliant goal. So he's got the talent. I don't know why he wasn't even on the bench today. There's obviously something going on there. I don't know what. He's probably going to go out on loan in January. I don't think Hughes trusts him, but felt like the game where you put Young up there with Oliver. But you know, who were we? Hughes made the changes and it worked. You know, changing to a diamond, I thought that was more beneficial than the 4-2-3-1. I did think, well, if you're changing formation from a 4-2-3-1, not 4-4-2, I think either 3-5-2 or the diamond, and he chose with the diamond. I don't think he's going to play 3 at back, although it would suit Odesina more. I think it is interesting to see. Obviously Kelly, it'll be available for the game against Salford on Sunday. Be interested to see what develops in this next month in terms of transfers, and if we look at bringing a striker in, because I think if we're going to play the diamond from now to the end of the season, I think we're going to want to look at bringing a pacey striker in behind, or someone who can offer a bit more trickery to a Cook or an Oliver, because obviously he doesn't trust Young. Right in a striker, although he scored and could have scored another. I didn't see if it was offside, but a good poacher's going that, and I missed the first goal, so I don't know what that will like. But obviously he scored, so there could be something in that. But then the only problem with the diamond is you're missing out on players like Banks and Dyser, and Pereira, who's probably going to go back to Luton in January as well. So you're missing out on them wide players, although we brought Isa in as sort of a midfielder. But yeah, I think I'm quite fair in my criticism, and I think Gilead has deserved criticism in the last 2 months or so. But today was fantastic in that midfield with Gilead and Sutton won his socks off as well. And as a team we looked better, we were pressing well, and we were forcing Harrogate into mistakes. I think they only had 1 shot on target. So when I get into player ratings, Harry Lewison getting a good score for the first time this season probably, because he hasn't had to do all, and that, you know, we should be playing against teams like Harrogate, and our keeper shouldn't be having a man of match performance or having to make saves. So as a team we played a lot better, and I think we're a much better team performance. Defenders played well, midfielders were organised and had a solid performance, and our attackers did what they needed to do. So a very good performance, and you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Andy Cook and Oliver. I think they can push each other on. They haven't been used to do that yet this season. But yeah, we've just come off a bad run. We've got the win now. We need to push on, but I think if you can go on a good run in League Two, I mean, Northampton lost to Swindon. that them three teams have started off well, but they could fall off. Even Forest Green started off really well last season. I think they did end up winning the league, but they did fall off a bit towards the end. The teams do have bad patches in any league, and teams can go on brilliant runs, and hopefully we can go on a good run now. And if you can put that one together and consistently be in the playoffs, then you're going to be up there towards the end of the season. But into a player ratings, Harry Lewis gets a 6 because he didn't have all to do, just a one shot on target. You know, the back line helped him out a few really good blocks. But yeah, he doesn't deserve a 7 because he didn't have to do all, which is good for us. If Harry Lewis is getting 7s and 8s and 9s every week, it shows that we're not playing well and relying on him to make saves. But again, it don't mean he's been bad. He just didn't have to do anything. But let me know your player ratings in the comments down below. On to defence, Brad Halliday gets a 7. I want to give him an 8, and he's a man of match contender, but I don't think he really deserves an 8. Got the assist for the goal, up and down that flank, put a few decent crosses in. I think that's a part of his game that he can improve, but defensively he's solid, putting in some really good blocks, tracking back well, and he gets into good positions going forward, but his end product with the crosses need to improve. But he's looking like a really good player, only 26, and I don't know what his contract's on, 2-3 years, but he could become a player who stays in this team, because he's that type of player who we've wanted for a while in right back. Probably haven't had a good player. Paul Caddies were decent, but since then, like midfield, we've had players after players in there who just haven't been good enough, and he's consistently good, and every game he's getting better, and I think he's getting the appreciation he deserves now, and he's becoming man of match contender, so he's one of the consistent players, and he's getting the praise he deserves, so a 7 for him. Platt gets a 6. I think he had a good game again. 6 isn't bad, it's just that he had an average and okay performance. Critchlow gets a 7 because he played better, nearly got an assist for the goal, an FPL assist, but you know, Critchlow is fantastic, brings the ball out from the back unbelievably well, and he still has very good defensive performance. I think he probably will make in the Championship in a couple of seasons. I hope he don't get recalled by Huddersfield, because it could derail our season. We don't know what this Kelly's going to be like if he comes into a team. Odyssey has been a bit dodgy so far. Platt doesn't seem to play well without someone like Critchlow, and Songo, I prefer him in midfield. So I think that's a position that we're a bit dodgy in, because we don't have a player like Critchlow to come in. So if Huddersfield do what they did last January and recall him, then he could put us into a bit of spot of bother. But hopefully they don't, and hopefully he stays. And I think his contract might be up at the end of the season as well, so there could be something in that as well. But very good performance again from Critchlow, gets a 7. Matty Folds gets a 6. I think the criticism of Folds is he's probably poor going forward, gets into good positions, don't have the pace, and the quality of the cross is a bit poor. He had a solid game defensively, not as good as Halliday, but I think Folds is a decent player now, but I think next season he'll probably become a bit of a backup player, and it's a position we need to improve on. But he's an okay player, gets the job done, but going forward, getting the ball into a box, he needs to be a bit better with that end product, because there's a few times he got into good positions, the cross were in the right area, but he just overhit or underhit. So that's the criticism of Folds in them positions to get the cross in. The end product isn't quite good enough, but a decent game again from Folds. Midfield, Smallwood in that single pivot. Really good performance from Smallwood. I think he gets criticised a lot because he passes the ball backwards a lot, but his job in that midfield is to step up, crunch into challenges, and then play the ball. And he does that fantastically. Wins the ball, presses up the field well, and he then gives the ball. He barely gives the ball away. And passing the ball to our centre-backs isn't a bad thing, because they're both pretty capable of playing with the ball, and probably better at passing it than him. I mean, if you give it to Critchlow, he just drives into midfield and goes past you, but Smallwood, what he does then is good, because he then drops back into the position from the centre-back who's driven forward. But a very good performance again from Smallwood. I think he's quite good on the ball, but giving the ball forward, I don't think he's got that quality. But in terms of crunching into tackles and winning the ball back and pressing up the field, it's fantastic. And you see that quality of reading the game and the experience of playing the game at a high level in the Championship. You do get to see that. And I don't think he's put a foot wrong at all this season. I know a lot of fans don't like him, but he gets a 7 from me. Let me know if you disagree. Gilead gets a 7. Very good performance, better performance from him. Got the ball, driven forward well, and he looked better on the ball. But what Gilead gives really is pressing and tenacity, and I think he got a bit more of a free roll, especially in the first half. He were better in the first half and second. He just got the whole team got the license to go forward and press and put them under pressure, and Gilead did give that well. And I think that's the reason why he's been kept in the team. But in this game, he got given the license to go and press and put the opposition under pressure. Sutton the same, very similar performance. Worked his socks off, came off because I don't think he's played probably since that. He might have played that Salford game in the Pizza Cup, and then maybe played against Burton in the game before that. But he hasn't played in a while. But a very good performance from Sutton. He's the type of player who'll put the shift in, and he'll do the hard yards. He ain't going to be good on the ball, but he's good to play in that position, and I think Hughes has seen that he can utilise him in that position. Chapman 7. I thought he had a very solid game. The one thing that frustrates me with Chapman is he's got the talent, he's got the technical ability to get out of small, get out of tight positions when the players are closing down. He's brilliant at that, but it's that end product. Can he find a pass? Can he get the right crossing? Can he get the shot off? Can he, score from it? He ain't got that, and I think that's the thing that stopped him from playing at the Championship consistently, and maybe even getting into Premier League, because he's got the technical ability to get out of tight positions. So he's obviously a talented player, but it's just that end product that he's missing, and that's why he's found himself in League Two. But he's definitely a Championship standard player with his talent and his technical ability, like I said. But he's just got to work on that end product. But a 7 today, because I thought he had a very solid performance. Terry Crichton gets a 7 as well. Man of match. I mean, I'll give him man of match also because he got the winning goal, which always seems to happen. But his overall performance was really good today. When he got on the ball, drove up players, trying to create chances, and when you've got a player like Oliver up top, you've got to be looking for him. You've got to be getting crosses into him, and he seemed to be the player who really wanted to do that and give him a few chances with a crossing. And I thought he just had an overall really good performance, running at players like I say and picking up the ball, trapped back well as well. So man of match for right, and he gets a 7, and Oliver gets a 7 as well, because I thought off the ball he trapped back, worked hard, tussling, getting into tussles with defenders, and going up for challenges, winning headers, winning duels, and I just thought he had a really good game. It's a shame he didn't get to score. He had a couple of chances that he didn't take, but he hasn't played since September, October. I think his last game with Colchester in August, was it? He's only started 4 games for us. He needs to get on a run of games, but when you've got a striker like Andy Cook, who's top scoring in the team with 16 goals or so, and one of the top goal scorers in the league, winning Player of the Month, it's hard to get in above him. But you feel like if he gets a run of games, he could be a really good player for us, and the players need to understand him as well to see what positions he's going to be in. So I think the goals would come if he plays more, but when you've got Andy Cook behind you, who came on and it showed an instant impact to try and create some chasing defenders down, it's always going to be hard for him to get in the team. But you can see the quality he has on the ball, holding the ball up. He had a very solid game, and then the subs they all get 6s. But there's apart from Harry Lewis, really, they could all get 7s because a solid performance from everyone. And to be fair, I think that's one of the best performances of the season, simply because Stevenage were a really good performance. We've wiped teams away this season, 3-0 games, but we haven't had a game where everyone's had a solid performance, everyone's done the jobs, we've pressed well, we've attacked well, we've been direct, and we've limited the opposition to chances. We've got stuck into the opposition and made a few fouls, not letting them rest. It were a really good team performance, and I'd say it were the best performance of the season. Just lacked a few goals, but I think if we keep playing this way, keep playing in the system, keep playing a few of the players who haven't played a lot, and the team can gel, we can go on a good run. That's what we need. We need to stay in the playoffs, and then we might get a good run towards the end of the season. It's not where we are now, it's where we are in May that counts. And I think you're going to have bad runs, like you said, but we've just come off with a win, ended the bad run. We need to go on a good win now. But a tough game on Sunday, we need to win it. But obviously Pele died today. Bit too great of the game. But let's be honest, Andy Cook's better than him. Have a good one.